So I don't know if I'm just really bad at this, but I have tried to record 4 times and I don't know how to feel like normal to talk to you like I talk to my friends and my family. And so I'm just gonna let it out, and this is it. This is just gonna be the last recording, and so buckle up. And I really hope this is helpful. Okay, so the reason I'm making this video is because it's summertime. Today is June 1st, actually, June 1st, 2026. And I have received several requests to teach workshops or summits. It's a variety of organization types. So there's education and nonprofit off the top of my head. And then there's some for-profit boutiques, but they're also human services. The general theme is de-escalation. So conflict resolution. Maybe the teams are just experiencing lots of fights, people not getting along, people not communicating in a way where people are understanding each other or feeling heard. And then people are burning out and quitting, or people are burnt out and staying, but they're just not really there, like it's like your body is there, but your soul isn't there anymore. Your heart's not there anymore. And there is a lot of information on how to handle this, how to support teams going through this. Um, I have over 15, I'm heading on 20 years of experience now in nonprofit work, human services, international NGO work, etc., even in the athletic field, just coaching and being people facing. And then I'm researching this currently at the University of Oregon. I felt disappointed when I tried to verify, is this information there? Like, can any lay person find the data and find the step-by-step tools online? And maybe it's there and I just didn't look hard enough, but it's not obvious. There's a lot of paywalls, or it's like people who teach these workshops, and if you pay them like $97, like I see 97 a lot. If you pay $97, then they will work with you and they'll give you this information. And I just wanted to make this to try to put it together in the ways that I am understanding right now, and give it to you. And I just hope it's really helpful. So I took notes. I'm going to read from my notes. Okay, first of all, the research shows that the best way to approach de-escalation in any of the ways I mentioned that organizations are most experiencing it is through emotional intelligence. So if you've got emotional intelligence, or I think it's called EQ in parentheses, there's data that shows employees, team members who have high levels of emotional intelligence, they're more likely to stay. They're more likely to want to figure out how to deal with job dissatisfaction and make it improve so that they stay. Leaders with high emotional intelligence, leaders with high emotional intelligence can de-escalate. They just have a more of a knack for dealing with tension, awkward moments, misunderstandings, maybe blurred vision, a lack of clarity. They're able to sift through that and get to an answer. I mean, it's a very, very important skill to have. So organizations who implement effective de-escalation strategies, and usually it starts from having emotional intelligence, which I'll get into in a second, there's like a huge reduction in turnover and absenteeism. It's another term that I was reading a lot. So, it works. Like the data shows it. I've seen it, for whatever that matters. Like I am only observational data. I am observational. It's subjective. But I wanted to then provide some framing here. So first, just to start off with a couple random points, like this works, the data shows it. So stress and Brad Stulberg pointed this out actually recently. I've been reading his books. Brad Stulberg is a prolific author. You can find him on Substack. I think all social media, but he's on Substack. And he says stress plus rest equals growth. And so I'm reading my notes. The reason that de-escalation training really works is because you are building your nervous system capacity. And quick fixes like, I don't know, like doing an ice water dip in the morning or like breathing techniques, they are very, very, very helpful, like extremely actually, in the short term. I've actually read some data that like ice baths in the morning can help over time throughout the day really help with your nervous system and staying regulated. However, it's challenging to have that last when you're in the thick of it, when you're at work, when you've had a 12-hour day and your colleague isn't showing up to take their shift and then you're going to stay. And if you work in a care home, for example, and you've just realized you got to stay longer than your 12-hour shift, that is like almost an impossible thought to have. What do you do in that moment? So if you understand de-escalation, and then if you understand through emotional intelligence how to balance your nervous system, you are going to learn how to be steady and stay long term in this field if that's what you want to do. You know, a lot of us go in this field because we care, we want to make a difference, but like, how do we stay long term? So that's what our goal is today. And if you're like, nope, I don't want to be in this field for a long time, like this is absolutely not my goal, this could apply to you still. Okay, so self-awareness. I want to now just go down into the nuts and bolts of what this means. So this applies to building your nervous system, which is connected to having emotional intelligence. It goes hand in hand. If you have more emotional intelligence skills, you're able to support your nervous system staying regulated, and vice versa. Okay, so self-awareness, that's like, it's really, I think, a cornerstone. When a team member recognizes their own dysregulation, if they recognize, oh my gosh, I'm about to start yelling, or I am about to storm off, or like my stuff is percolating up in my stomach and coming up to my chest right now, I am getting really upset. That is huge. That's a huge first step. Another step is like knowing where your stress window is, which I think Dr. David Siegel, is that his name? I think so. He speaks a lot about this. He's written a lot of books. He's like a profound psychologist and author. Know where your stress window is. That's part of self-awareness. Like, where's your limit? And knowing that ahead of time, just in general. Like for me, I know that my limit is right around, if I've been working for like 4 hours straight on deep work and it's on the computer and I haven't gone outside to take a walk, I know that at that moment I'm probably low threshold for handling an unexpected stressful event, because I'm going to start to feel cranky because I've not moved my body. I've just been staring at a computer for 4 hours. Maybe even less, maybe even like 3 hours, but 4 is like my absolute max that I've ever seen. So it's just an example. So when people practice self-awareness, you practice knowing yourself, you are less likely to get caught off guard. You are more likely to handle the unexpected, which is gonna happen in this field. You're more likely to handle the unexpected with some clarity, with some groundedness, with flexibility. Dare I say it, rugged flexibility, but you'll have more flexibility. So that's the first step. The second step is just the emotional regulation piece directly. So in conflict situations, in leaders who have high emotional intelligence, they can regulate their emotions. They can prevent from projecting onto their staff, their team. So like an example is that, let's say there's a resident yelling and then the direct service professional feels their heart rate rising. They recognize it, so they choose a calm response instead of matching the resident's energy. That is an example of nervous system regulation and the emotional regulation that that requires, and then like in turn emotional intelligence. So then there's social awareness, and there's one more after this. So there's just like four pieces I wanted to cover. So social awareness, being aware of your surroundings. There's a book that I recently heard about. It's called Hunt, Gather, Parent. And Hunt, Gather, Parent talks a lot about being aware of others. When we in the West, if you are somebody that admires children from other cultures because they tend to be respectful, they want to help, they are self-starters, they have self-regulation. One of the reasons that this book talks about is that those children from a young age learn about being aware of others, social awareness. Um, Emotionally intelligent people, they're better equipped to understand the perspectives of others, and then they can regulate their own responses, and then they can create constructive dialogue to deal with disputes, to deal with problems. You tend to have more empathy when you're more socially aware. And sometimes practicing scripts, practicing like what would it look like to be socially aware. Here's some scripts to practice that. That is one way to build that skill. And then lastly, safety. So people need to know that they are safe to make mistakes. People need to know that, like, if they make a mistake, they're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. There's a lot of writing on this topic that if you know that you can get back up after falling on your face, and I've done that a lot. Like, I mean, I'm talking face in the dirt, in the ground. I'm so embarrassed. How am I going to recover from this? Knowing that it's going to be okay and you are ultimately safe. When If you're a leader, if you can take the time to validate emotions before going into correction mode, if you're a teammate and you can provide that, if you are anywhere in your life and you can provide that for others, people will feel safer, and then safety will reduce disruptions. So when people feel safer, that naturally is going to be a de-escalation tactic, a de-escalation rhythm in your organization or on your team, wherever you work. So you want to have nervous system literacy. You want to have emotional regulation under crisis. You want to have de-escalation techniques. And then you want to put that all together to create a safer team and a team of people who stay. So that's just like a super high level list. It's not exhaustive for sure, but these are things I've seen really work, and I think that it's digestible. I have a website. It's shinetogether.life, and I have 2 free one is a set of 12 scripts, so you can like practice like a lot of these skills. And then another one is actually how to practice this at home, like with your family, practicing being regulated and connected and having social awareness. And then if you want any support on this, like maybe talk to each other in the comments if there are any comments. I don't think I've ever had that on my videos, but other than people being supportive in general toward me, but you can always message me, and I'm very happy to help where I can. Like, this is again not about money, and this is not a pitch. I just think that this information needs to be out there. Like, nonprofits and human services is like a key foundation of the roots that makes the tree of our civilization. It's really important, and I just don't think there's enough help, and I think that there's too many paywalls. I understand people need to make a living. I also think that if you can, you should give away your knowledge. So that is today's video. Thank you.